Going on? What's going on? He drops his voice so Glenys can't hear him. You come sniffing around here a lot, do you? Sniffing around my wife. Fancy a bit of that, do you? While the cat's away? Is that what's going on? He's edging in close, pushing his face up into mine. I'm sure I don't know what you mean, Larry. I'm a good few inches taller than him. He's quite a small man, but he's built like a bully. Don't know what I mean? Sniffing round my wife like she's some bitch on heat. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't play the innocent with me, you little toe rag. I'll give you something to think about. Glenys has been a good friend to me, and I hope I've been one to her, I say. There is absolutely nothing going on, as you put it, and if you had actually been around for the last 5 years, you would know that. I can feel my fists clenching, but I'm not going to be spoken to like that. You abandoned Glenys for some young floozy who's young enough to be your daughter. You swan off, and then you think you can come back round whenever it suits you. How dare you? I've a mind to drag you outside and show you what for, you snivelling little... And he grabs my cardigan. But just at that moment, Glenys comes back into the room with some little cut-glass sherry glasses. Found them, she sings. Come on, boys, let's go and get cosy in the room. We'll miss all the dancing. Oh, what a shame, Alec, says Larry. Glyn, Alec says he's busy, so he can't stop. That's a shame, isn't it? Oh, no, says Glenys. No, you're all right, Glenys, I say. I said I've been busy, Larry. You must have misunderstood. I can stay for a slice of cake. And a drop of sherry, says Glenys. And a drop of sherry. That would be most delightful. Shall we go through, Larry? I can feel him grinding his teeth, but I'm not going to let him boss me around. Who does he think he is? Yes, come through, says Glenys again, and she heads off down the hallway with the glasses in her hand. Bring the tray, will you, Larry? I'll bring it, Glenys, I call after her. I've got it. Don't drop the fucking thing, will you, Alec? He says under his breath. After you, Larry, after you, I tell him. So he goes ahead of me. When we get into the front room, Glenys is already sitting in the middle of the couch. Come on, it's Giovanni doing a salsa. They're going to win, these two, they've got to. I put the cake down on the coffee table next to the sherry glasses, and Larry sits himself down next to Glenys. Yes, come and sit here, Alec, she says, patting the cushion on the other side of her. I want you both here, come on. She shuffles her bottom up a little closer to Larry to give me room. Oh, this is so nice, she says. Da 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 da. She's singing along to the music now, clapping her hands. I'll cut the cake, shall I say. Yes, of course, she says. You're the master baker after all. It's only right. And you get the sherry, Larry. Be a lamb. It's over there in the right-hand cupboard. I do know where we keep the sherry, Glenys, he says. Pushes himself up off the couch, groaning and moaning like an old man. Goes over to the sideboard. Yeah, well, she says, I might have changed things round while you were away. You don't know. You? Change things round? Don't be daft, you'd never find anything. I kneel down next to the coffee table and cut 3 slices of Battenberg and put them on the plates. Here you go, Larry, I say, sliding his plate over to him. I've only given you a small slice. You didn't seem that keen earlier. And besides, looks like you probably need to watch what you eat, eh? I sit myself down again. Oh, yes, says Glenys. You never were very fit, were you, Larry? Her eyes are glued to the telly as Giovanni and his partner go salsering across the screen. I don't know what you're talking about. Fit as a fiddle, me. He needs to watch his progesterone, Doctor said. And if we ever went dancing, you'd get really out of breath, wouldn't you, Larry? You'd get really breathless. Well, I was a smoker back then, wasn't I? Given that up now, haven't I? Cheryl didn't... But he stops talking. We all know what he was going to say. When he just stops. He pulls off a bit of cake and puts it into his mouth. I feel Glenys is leaning ever so slightly against me. She's tucking into her cake like a good un. This is delicious Backenberg, Alec. You're so clever. Isn't Alec clever, Larry, to make a Backenberg? It's a Battenberg, Glynis, says Larry. I know it is, says Glynis. That's what I mean. So clever. He's never made one before, have you, Alec? No, I say. Not a Battenberg. You never even baked cakes for Jill, did you, Alec? No, I never did, no. Just then I hear a noise from outside in the garden or something. Something falling over, perhaps, but no one else seems to notice. It's lovely, says Glynis. I'm finding it a bit dry, to be honest, says Larry. No offence, Alec. Just, to my taste, it's a bit dry. Nonsense, says Glynis. It's not at all dry. It's lovely and moist, isn't it, Alec? It's very moist, isn't it? Battenberg isn't to everyone's taste, Glynis, I say. Not everyone likes a refined texture. That's what it is, Alec. You're right, it is refined, says Glynis. And yours is even more refined than Mr. Kipling's, isn't it? Well, for a first attempt, I'm pretty happy with it, yes. You should make one every week. We could have Backenberg and sherry every week, couldn't we, Larry, the three of us? He doesn't say anything, just pushes his plate back onto the coffee table. Claudia has finished talking to Giovanni and his partner, and the scores are in. 10, shouts Glynis. A 10 from Craig. They are so good, aren't they? It's 10s across the board. Glynis can barely hold herself together. What a way to finish the show, she says. What a lovely evening. Oh, thank you so much, Alec, for the cake. And thank you so much, Larry, for... No, don't get emotional again, Glyn, says Larry. I can't help it, she says. I'm an emotional person. I edge forward on the couch. I think I'd better be getting along, Glynis. Yes, says Larry. I can see you've got lots to talk about, the two of you. I expect Larry's got a bit of a lot of things to tell you. I'm stood up and I start to head for the door. Oh, I'll come and see you out, Alec, said Glynis. I think Alec can find his own way, can't he? Says Larry. Yes, but I want to, says Glynis. Whatever, says Larry. It's quite an effort for her to get up off the couch. Give me a hand, Alec. I take her 2 hands and help her up. Larry pushes at her bottom. Stop it, Larry, she says. At last she's up and she follows me through the kitchen to the back door. I turn the latch and step outside. It's pretty dark, but the security lamp comes on and as I start to move. Alec, says Glynis. Yes, Glynis. I turn back to her. I can see her eyes are glistening in the light from the security lamp. You must think I'm a bit stupid. No, I don't, Glynis. And I really don't. Why would I think that? Oh, letting him come back. I'm not one to judge, Glynis. You've got to follow your heart, haven't you? You have, Alec. She pulls a tissue out of her sleeve and starts dabbing at her eyes. Even when it's been a bit bruised. Yes, Alec, even then. Good night, Glynis. Good night, Alec. She puts her arm out and gives me a hug. Little peck on the cheek. Oh, your cake and cake stand. Oh, don't worry about that now, I say. Pop it round sometime. Pop it round and we'll have a cup of coffee and you can tell me all about it. All right. All right, she says. That sounds nice. She gives me another little peck. Good night. Yes, good night. She waits on the doorway as I step through the garden gate and I hear her close her back door just as I get to mine.